I stood there frozen, the weight of her words crashing down on me like ice water on a burning wound. Don't embarrass us with fake status again. That sentence, that tone, smirk curled on her lips like she'd just won something, like she had been waiting to say it. We were at our parents' anniversary dinner, something that should have been a celebration, not a battleground. But ever since I walked in wearing that fitted black suit and dropped my black credit card on the table to cover the bill, I'd felt her eyes scanning me, judging me. And then in front of everyone, Mom, Dad, our cousins, even that aunt who always finds a reason to remind me I'm not married yet, she scoffed, loudly. You know, that's not a real black card, right? She sneered, laughing under her breath. People like us don't qualify for that. Don't embarrass us with fake status again. I should have said something smart, cool, or at least walked away with my dignity. But I just stood there. It wasn't just about the card. God, no. It was about everything. It was about how she's always seen me as second-rate. How she's always acted like her way of doing life's stable job, suburban house, 2 kids, husband, with a receding hairline and a safe pension is the only valid path. And me? The sibling who left the corporate world, took a leap into entrepreneurship, struggled, failed, built again, fought to get here. I was just the family dreamer. Translation, disappointment. But I didn't get that card from some prop shop. On Instagram, I earned it. Every sleepless night, every investor rejection, every maxed out credit limit I pushed through just to keep my startup alive, that card was proof that I made it. Even if no one else in the room thought I had. She looked right at me after saying it, like she expected me to shrink. Like she still saw the 14-year-old version of me, who borrowed her jeans for school pictures and cried when she told me I looked pathetic. It's always been this way with her. Growing up, she was the golden child, perfect grades, prom queen. The one whose picture our mother still keeps in her wallet. I was the sensitive one, the artsy one. The one who spent more time drawing in the margins of textbooks than actually reading them. And to be honest, I didn't care. Not back then. I had my dreams and that was enough. But tonight felt different. It's like all the years of silent battles and invisible bruises had led to this single, humiliating moment. Dad laughed awkwardly after she said it, tried to change the subject. Mom looked uncomfortable, stirring her soup like it held the secrets of the universe. No one stood up for me. No one said, hey, maybe let him be proud of something for once. And I hated how familiar that felt. I paid for the whole damn meal. Every glass of overpriced wine, every tiny plate of food that cost more than it should have. And I did it because I thought for once I could show them I belonged. That I was successful. That I wasn't just chasing something intangible. But her words, they shattered that illusion. Like she reached into my chest and yanked out every ounce of pride I walked in with. I didn't touch my food after that. I stared at my reflection in the black card, my face warped by its glossy surface. It almost looked like someone else. Someone tired. Someone tired of proving himself to people, never wanted to believe in the first place. I didn't say a word during dessert. I just kept glancing at my watch, pretending I had somewhere to be, somewhere better. Truth is, I didn't. I just wanted to disappear. When it was over, I got up, said goodbye, and walked to the valet. My car pulled up, sleek black, electric. Another symbol she probably thought was leased or borrowed. As I got in, I caught her reflection in the glass. As she was watching me, arms crossed, that same condescending smirk on her face. And I swear, that look has haunted me my whole life. Driving home, I didn't blast music like I usually do. I drove in silence, windows down. Just the hum of the road and the occasional car zipping by. I replayed her voice over and over in my head. Fake status. Don't embarrass us. I thought of every moment I had felt like I was finally rising only. For her to pull me back down with a comment, a laugh, a jab disguised as concern. I thought of the time I launched my first business and showed her the app I'd built. She said, that's cute, but don't quit your day job. Already had her at the time I showed up at a family barbecue in my new suit and she whispered to Mom, is he playing dress up again? Even when I bought my condo, my first big personal win, she joked, is it actually yours or is it one of those rent-to-own scams? Every damn step forward, she was there dragging me 2 steps back with nothing but a smile and a cutting remark. And I let her. For years, I let her. But not anymore. I pulled into my garage and just sat there for a while, engine still humming. My phone buzzed with messages, notifications, business emails, Slack pings. I ignored them all. Instead, I opened my wallet and took out the black card. I held it in the palm of my hand. It was cold, heavy, real. I earned this. This wasn't fake. I am not fake. I thought back to the nights I slept in my office, when I couldn't afford rent and payroll in the same month. The nights I ate ramen, not because I liked it, but because it was all I could afford. The investors who laughed me out of rooms, the friend who bailed on me when the company went through its first downturn, the co-founder who'd quit just weeks before our biggest launch. I bled for this life, and she just mocked it. Because it didn't look like her version of success, I went inside, dropped my keys on the kitchen counter, and collapsed onto the couch. For a while, I just stared at the ceiling. I felt empty, like I had nothing left to prove, and yet, still, didn't feel seen. Maybe that's the thing about siblings, no matter how old you get. Part of you always wants their validation, even when you know you shouldn't need it. I thought of texting her, writing some long message about how hurtful her comment was, how she has no idea what I've gone through, how dismissive she's always been. But I didn't, because I already know what she'd say. Calm down, you're being dramatic, or worse, she'd just leave it on read. So instead, I opened a blank note on my phone and started typing. Not for her. For me. I listed every win I'd had over the past 5 years. Every milestone. Every late night breakthrough. Every no I turned into a yes. Every client I closed. Every risk I took. Every time I bet on myself when no one else did. Line after line. I filled that note until the ache in my chest softened into something else, fire. Because the truth is, I don't need her approval to validate my journey. I never did. But tonight made me realize just how much space I still let her take up in my mind. And that ends now. Maybe next time I won't offer to pay for dinner. Maybe next time I won't sit there in silence. Maybe next time I'll look her dead in the eyes and say, "You don't get to define my success." Because this version of me, the one who walked through hell to build something real, is done shrinking. Let her scoff. Let them all doubt. I didn't come this far just to be mocked by someone too small to understand the size of my dream. 2 days passed before I heard from her again. A message. No greeting, no apology, just so. Was it real? Stared at it for a full minute, lips tightening. That's how she reached out? That was her way of following up? Not even acknowledging the way she humiliated me in front of everyone. One typed and deleted half a dozen replies. Yes, it was real. Why does it matter now? If you weren't so blinded by jealousy, you'd recognize a real achievement when you see one. But I didn't send any of them. Just locked my phone, leaned back in my chair, and exhaled. It's funny. People think the hardest part about success is getting there, but it's not. The hardest part is carrying it with you into places where people still treat you like you never left the bottom. Especially family. Especially a sister like her. I didn't respond. Instead, I threw myself back into work. I walked into the office that Monday and let the hum of the space-ground me phones ringing, fingers tapping keyboards, voices low and urgent in nearby meetings. I had built this. Every desk. Every salary. Every wall in that building bore the sweat of my hustle. As I walked through the hallway toward my corner office, people greeted me, some with admiration, others with respect. They saw me. Really saw me. No one here thought my status was fake. They knew what it took. They lived it with me. It was a sharp contrast to the dinner table I'd sat at just nights ago, shrinking under my sister's glare. And yet, despite all of this success around me, I couldn't shake the ache in my chest. That deep, invisible bruise her words had left. Because this wasn't just about a card. It wasn't about money. It was about dignity. About being enough. And maybe a part of me still wanted her to say, "I'm proud of you." God, how pathetic. Is that 3 days later? She showed up, unannounced. I heard her before I saw her, the click of her heels echoing off the polished floors, her voice asking my assistant, "Is he available?" I'm his sister. I came out of my office, eyes narrowing. She looked different, less smug, more calculated. "Hey," she said, like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't tried to strip me down in front of our entire family less than a week ago. "Do you have a minute?" I didn't answer, just turned and walked back inside. I heard the soft swoosh of the door behind me as she followed. She glanced around, taking in the shelves lined with awards, the framed headlines from business magazines. My name in bold print. She even walked up to one and read it aloud. The startup CEO who beat the odds. I sat down, folding my hands in my lap. She turned slowly. "So, it was real?" I raised an eyebrow. "You came all the way here just to confirm that?" She bit her lip. "No, she hesitated. I came to apologize. That stopped me. I didn't expect that, not from her." She looked uncomfortable. Like the word itself burned on her tongue. Shouldn't have said what I said at dinner. It was ... mean and petty. I waited. Silence hung between us like fog. She looked down. "I guess I don't know. I've spent so many years trying to do everything right, you know? Follow the plan, get the degree, marry the safe guy, buy the house. And then you went off and did this wild thing. No map, no rules. And you won." Her voice cracked slightly at that last word. "Won." She looked up. Her eyes weren't cold this time. They were tired. It made me feel small. That confession hit me harder than I expected. Because for the first time in our lives, I realized she was human too. Not just the girl who called me a failure, not just the sister who mocked me, but a person who, in her own way, felt like she'd been running a race with me, only to look over and realize I'd taken a different path and gotten further. "Why? Didn't you just say that?" I asked quietly. She gave a weak smile. "Because admitting it means admitting I've been resenting you for a long time, and I didn't want to face that." I sat back in my chair, feeling the war between anger and empathy swelling in my chest. "I worked hard for this," I said. Finally, my voice low, steady, "and you never saw it. Not once, I know. You always made me feel like I was some reckless kid chasing pipe dreams. You laughed when I failed. You were silent when I succeeded." Her face twisted with guilt. "I know, and I'm sorry." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "You made me doubt myself over and over again. Even when the world started believing in me, you still didn't." She took a deep breath. "I know, it wasn't enough, but it was something we didn't hug. We didn't cry. That's not who we are." But before she left, she paused at the door and turned to me. "That black card, it suits you." And then she was gone. That night, I sat on my balcony, city lights stretching out before me like electric veins. The air was thick with the scent of summer, warm, charged, alive. I thought about how much space she had taken up in my life, how many decisions I had made just to prove something to her. Often I replayed her voice in my head before making a move. It was always her I imagined judging me, dismissing me. But tonight, for the first time in forever, I realized something profound. I don't need her voice in my head anymore. She was never the judge of my worth. I've decided I'm enough. Not because of the money, or the card, or the headlines, but because I refused to quit. I clawed my way from broke and invisible to respected and powerful. And if she couldn't see that before, then she was never meant to be part of this chapter of my story anyway. But maybe now, she will be. And maybe not for her, not for validation, but for me. I'll let her. Weeks later, we all gathered again. Another family event. More noise, more fake smiles. But this time, when I walked in, I wasn't carrying pride like a fragile trophy I hoped they wouldn't knock out of my hands. I carried it like armor. And when my sister saw me, she nodded. Not with judgment, not with sarcasm, just a nod. Small, respectful, and it was enough. I didn't need her applause. I had already won.